Okay, so this is just a whole bunch of just random pieces of wood with stuff on them. I just wanted to go through real fast. Um, as I've said in pretty much, I'm pretty sure almost every single video I've done now about how I like to save everything I can. So these are all offcuts and scraps and fresh glue ups from offcuts and scraps, and everything here is all reclaimed wood. And I just want to kind of show how sometimes it's almost borderline kind of ridiculous how much I try to save everything kind of thing. So in one of my other videos, I was talking about this glue up. Well, I'll start up here. This glue up here being for this rib cage, so that fits on there perfectly to the point where this kind of where these two boards joined has this natural, well, not natural, but this cutout, and that fits on either side of the bottom of this pattern, and it's just long enough to get to the top, so I can get that out of there. I did mention that the other pieces can get used for the other parts of the skeleton, but I also started laying them out on other scrap pieces. So one of the hands will be out of there, and then you can see here I got 4 different pieces coming out of that one little offcut board, and then basically what's left is there's very little left over after that. There's another one that's a hand, and the same thing. It's a very kind of odd shape, but it fits this almost perfectly. And then that way, once again, it's very little waste. On this one, there'll still be a leftover piece, but just getting the chunk out of there, you can see how it narrows down and just kind of fits that pattern really well again. And then I have this one here where I got a couple of the bones up there, and then there's this unicorn puzzle, and you can see here it says LL and thighs. Don't mind my writing being atrocious, but basically I have the patterns and they fit in here just perfectly. I just didn't put them in yet. I'm gonna cut everything first and then put the pattern on the offcut. I think it'll just be a bit easier that I'm not, overlapping onto something else while I'm cutting. And then basically these two line up on here in such a way. I can't remember exactly how I had it lined up last night, but it works out that those bones will fit on there, and then the skull gets cut out of this piece, and I still have offcut, and all that, and these and that were from the golf portraits that I've mentioned that were saved from a crate that was saved from a IKEA bed slats, so it's been saved and saved and saved. This was saved from other pine pieces. Actually, I think this might have came from. I think it came from the same crate. Honestly, it just this was separate than the golfer pieces. And then, as far as the oak pieces go, I got them laid out for layered deer and the layered fox and the layered bison, and like some of them, you can see there's such little waste, and that's just like I said, it's a way that I helps keep costs down, but also for me, one of my big things is I like the salvaging and saving process. I think it's really interesting to see how much. I track it every year, so by board feet, and I'm still doing the final numbers, but I'll post something about that for 2023. And then this guy is going to go on there. And in one of my previous videos, you saw that this had a big kerf mark in it. And then after planing, I actually planed it to pretty much the thickness I wanted, and that mark was completely gone. So just further saving that. And you can see here, this middle board, that's where like a screw was. And then there's a hole there. And then this is where a screw was going to, cross grain. And when this gets lined up on there, that that hole gets missed, that gets missed, and then that's in the offcuts as well. And I'll probably get another. I'm thinking. I've already kind of thought it in mind. I'm probably gonna get another one of the fox heads out of there, and then I think probably the fox legs out of there. So even my offcuts will get used up even more still. But you can kind of see how much of the material actually gets used. I try to do my best in using up as much as I can and creating as little waste as possible. And as I mentioned, this is all salvaged wood to begin with, and some of it's been salvaged a few times. But yeah, that's a whole bunch of just random off-cut pieces and stuff like that that are going to become finished projects. Um, and then once everything's all done, I'll post them and go from there.